Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 4. And this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 3 for this season, otherwise entitled Always My Hero. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's actually watch the trailer.
The world's without its protector.
It's just us. But if we can't stop it, who can?
We have one shot at this.
Plug on target! We don't know the evil that's coming for you.
So just a heads up, it is storming like hell. I'm not dealing with Hurricane Milton, not over there. I'm dealing with, like, I don't know, Hurricane Shelton. I don't know. It's raining a lot and it's very noisy, but just a bit of a heads up if you can hear that through the video. I'm not too sure. Of course, last episode, which technically, I guess the last two episodes, because we had a 2-hour or back-to-back premiere, we had, well, simply the death of Superman right at the end of episode 1, with us finding out that Superman has died, not through a punch to the head or just taking a lot of damage, but he had his goddamn heart ripped out by Doomsday. Now, of course, throughout episode 2, we saw Jordan trying to retrieve the heart, and we are led to believe that Lex Luthor has crushed said heart under his foot, under one individual foot, I guess you could say, in front of Jordan. We don't know if that's a fake out yet. That is for us to wait and find out. We might find out in this episode, but I guess at this point, leading into episode 3, we should believe that the heart is gone, and they're going to have to find out another way in which to potentially, if not hopefully, save Superman, whatever that might be. So whether that plays out in this third episode, we don't know. But we know we're going to get some new stuff, at least in regards to certain perspectives from, characters we haven't seen yet this season, but also how they're going to deal with certain situations without Superman. But of course, throughout the video and, throughout the breakdown, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we go over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support, you're looking forward to the episode, drop a like, takes 2 seconds. But of course, before we get into anything else in regards to the breakdown, let's actually read out the synopsis for this third episode of the season. Here we go. Reeling from failure, Jordan begins to spiral while Jonathan discovers newfound strength. General Lane recruits John Henry and Natalie Irons to the DoD before making a choice that will change everything. So the first thing we see in this trailer is a shot that we'd seen in, I think, I don't know if it was the first trailer they released for this season. I think it might have been, but it's Lois, Jordan, and Jonathan all dressed in black on the farm, and I think this is clearly the funeral for for Jordan and Jonathan's father and Lois's husband in the form of Clark Kent. Now, the big question around this, I guess, is like, do other people attend? I would assume yes, but then again, I'm not too sure. The only thing I can think of is if we see some cars leaving, for example, and then we just see Lois, Jordan, and Jonathan. So it gives away that multiple people were there, but we just get some scenes or a scene with the 3 remaining Kent characters, or family characters, might I say, on the farm. Obviously, in regards to whether this is a private affair or it's just made fairly public that Clark has died is another question. We still don't know if, like, the thing with Superman is going to go too far outside of it, though. There is a shot from this trailer which does suggest that that will hit the public eye, and there's maybe a toss-up throughout this episode as to whether to make that public, or to make that information known to the public, because of course in episode 2 we saw Lois about to send off the or to publish the article on Superman, like the death of Superman, and Jonathan interrupted that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the episode. But we do hear the world's without its protector, and this is from John Henry with "It's just us," said shortly after by his daughter Natalie. And this is when we actually see Doomsday in like the heads up display, so like the sights of one of either John Henry or Natalie within their suits. Of course, we don't know. I'd assume it's John Henry, but it easily could be Natalie. But whoever we're seeing this point of view from, I don't want to be them, because Doomsday is literally right in their grill. It's like right in front of them. Now, Natalie says, if we can't stop it, who can? Now, this is a big thing because it makes you still wonder, like, does this mean like Doomsday continues going around doing Lex's bidding throughout the episode? Of course, we saw that Lex still has some control over Doomsday because Doomsday brought back Superman's heart to him at the end of episode 1. But outside of that, we don't know, like, can Lex, like, say, hey, go get me this thing? Can he just simply control Doomsday like that, or is it more just like a simple demand that was given when he went to fight off Superman. We don't know how much control Lex has. So that might be something that's really fleshed out throughout the episode, or at least revealed in some way. But we just don't know at this stage how much control there potentially is, because if Lex has like full-on control, that's very, very dangerous. But we do see the military moving like to defend the outside of the DoD, which makes you think Doomsday is going to come here and attack. And we do actually see Doomsday in the trailer, and it looks like you can see like barbed wire behind him, like almost like an outpost thing. So you would assume this is him outside the DoD as well. You can see him like flexing his freakish like advanced muscles. Now, a big question I guess was, like, we know that Doomsday is going to be versing John Henry and Natalie at some point in this episode, but in this instance here, is he versing Jordan in front of the DoD? Because in one of the other trailers, I think it might have been the second trailer that we got for this season, we did see Jonathan outside the DoD, as well as Lois, and Lois was like yelling, but we didn't see Jordan. So I think we might see Jordan fighting Doomsday here, but it also makes you wonder, will we also see John Henry and Natalie versus Doomsday in this scenario as well? So potentially we could have Jordan, John Henry, and Natalie all fighting Doomsday in a short period of time. I don't know if they'll all fight together, because we could get Jordan going up to Doomsday, Jordan getting slapped away, and then John Henry and Natalie coming in. And as the synopsis does say, John Henry and Natalie are going to be back at the DoD. So they'd probably be in this area potentially here, unless that recruitment happens at the end of the episode after this Doomsday encounter. We don't know. Now, there is a big theory going around by many people. This is what they're predicting, that they're going to need to get Doomsday's heart to save Superman. That's how they're going to save him, because if that was actually Superman's heart that we saw Lex Luthor crush under his foot towards the end of episode 2, they're going to have to get something to put in the place of that. A lot of people were thinking maybe they would go to John Henry's original Earth to get the heart from the black suit Superman, or maybe somewhere in the multiverse, but I don't think they'd really want to touch that. I don't think they'd be overly eager to jump into the multiverse stuff. So it makes sense that they go for Doomsday, because at the end of the day, Doomsday is just a bizarro version of Superman. So you'd think that the hearts would be fairly compatible. You'd have to think at the very least. Now, we do get some Lex Luthor in this trailer. We're not just mentioning him without saying anything from him. We do hear and see him say, we have one shot at this, when talking to Amanda McCoy. But one shot at what? Like, what do they have one shot at that they most likely wouldn't be able to repeat? And I do wonder if this is getting John Henry's suit, because of course in the second trailer we got for this season, we do see Lex in the suit, clean shaven though, which makes me think that might be for a bit later in the season, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case potentially, or it's just to get some other information from the DoD via this, presumed attack from Doomsday there. Now, I think it's maybe like, I don't think Doomsday might be going in there to get the stuff. I think Doomsday's the distraction, and then Lex or some other people, like one of Lex Luthor's goons, goes in there and gets the information. Because I think if Doomsday's at the front, I think the vast majority, if not everyone within the DoD that can control a weapon, is probably going out the front to try and stop him. So that wouldn't surprise me either if Doomsday's the distraction, and then whether it's Amanda McCoy, whether it's Lex Luthor, whether it's Gretchen or Otis, the two Lex Luthor goons that we have sticking around, whether they're the ones that go in, I'm not too sure. Now, we do have Natalie yelling out for her father whilst taking on Doomsday, and a lot of people think, oh, well, there might be some more stuff here. But once again, if Doomsday is just a distraction, he might not go out of his way to kill, and maybe the orders are not to kill. It's literally just, hey, distract. Because if Doomsday really wanted to kill, he'd be able to probably kill John Henry and Natalie and Jordan fairly simply, fairly quickly, and not take too long. But if the whole point is to be a distraction, it's like, hey, get up in the air, fly around, be a bit of a nuisance up there, and then that's going to distract people for quite a while, isn't it? So I don't think John Henry or Natalie is in too much danger. Maybe the quality, if not longevity, of their suits might be. I still am just very curious to see how Lex Luthor gets this suit that we see him in, because it obviously looks exactly like John Henry's. We should just presume it's John Henry's that he gets his hands on, but he could easily just get the designs or whatever it might be to build his own. At the end of the day, that suit that John Henry has is Lex Luthor technology from his Earth, but this Lex Luthor wouldn't have that because of his time in prison. But then again, maybe Luthor Corp has that technology, and Lex just doesn't know about it until a bit later in the season. I don't know. Now, we do, just a final thing to talk about, we do see someone or something flying to the Fortress of Solitude. At first, you just look at it and go, oh, it's one of John Henry or Natalie's suit, but it looks like a ship. Like, I thought it was John Henry or Natalie, but it looks like it could be larger, like a ship of sorts. Now, it wouldn't be John Henry's ship that he was in season 1, because that exploded in space. That was like a thing that, yeah, that exploded in space. It's not, I don't think it's Superman's ship, like the little pod thing, because it's really small. Unless that's it, like autopilot, and there's something in there that can help Superman. So maybe it could be that. And I don't think it's the pod that Natalie came in, because I had a look on the scene, and the back of it looks different. It doesn't look anything like that. So I think the only option is it's a completely new ship, or maybe it's Superman's pod. It could be Superman's pod. And maybe there's just something in there that they need to help Superman at the Fortress of Solitude. That could be what's going on. And also, we've got to remember that, like, there was that scene in the first trailer that we got, I think it was, with Jonathan and Jordan arguing and yelling at each other. Maybe they're down the barn to do some stuff, or maybe even get the pod themselves, and that's what sort of leads to that pod then going to the Fortress of Solitude. So, yeah, not sure exactly what it is, but if I had to make a prediction, because it doesn't look like it's John Henry or Natalie from what I can tell, I might say it's Superman's pod, just for some sort of Kryptonian science need that it has to go there. Now, unfortunately, we have no promo images for this episode as of yet, at least from what I know. So yeah, we can't really talk about those, but if there's anything of note, then I might include them in a video over the weekend or in the next couple of days, at least before episode 3 comes out. But yeah, nothing at this stage at the very least. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and predictions and expectations and theories heading into this episode. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.